Hi guys, good evening. I hope that your week is off to a good start. I know it's only Monday, but sometimes one good day is all you need to make a good week. Or at least that's my hope for you. I know I've done quite a bit of hair play recently, and kind of a massage focus. I'm kind of starting to dial in on the things that I really enjoy doing the most. And I do believe that the real person is something that I want to do more of in the future, because I love that I get the experience of doing something kind for somebody, and selfishly. But it also makes them feel really good too. And then as a tertiary benefit, you all get to feel good from it as well. So those are my favorites. I'm hoping that I can schedule a little bit more with people in the future to make those happen. But tonight, I thought that we could just sit by the fire. It's a little bit chilly outside. And do a little bit of hair brushing, a scalp inspection, and just kind of talk a little bit. I do have my animals running around right now, so if the cat or one of the dogs happens to pop in, I hope you don't mind. They tend to be a little noisier if I try to close them in a different room or put them with my husband somewhere, so for everyone's peace, I just left them out. Scalp inspections are one of those triggers that I never knew how much I liked them until I saw them. I've seen quite a few people do these now, and everybody definitely has their own technique, but the first person that I ever saw do this, who I really enjoyed, was Samiti Coco. I don't know if you've seen her channel before, but I always feel good when I watch her for several reasons. She seems like such a genuinely kind person, and she is really interested. She's actually going to school for holistic medicine, so she has a totally different approach to her stuff than a lot of people do. And I think her cousin does an ASMR channel too. And I haven't seen her cousins as much, but I know Samidi does such great scalp inspections. I hope you're all doing well with the time change. I know that it's not my favorite part of the year, but it is a part of it. So I try to be as optimistic as I can be, because nothing that I can do changes the fact that it gets dark so much earlier, but that sounds really nice. I used to actually really love the fall and the winter. It was my favorite season when I was a kid, because I loved that it got dark early, because it meant that after school, on nights that I didn't have activities, I could go home and kind of cozy up and enjoy myself for the rest of the night. And part of that is because the time as a kid, I had parents, specifically my mom always took care of stuff for us. She cooked. She made sure that we were doing our homework and that we were clean. We were taking our baths and our showers and whatever was age appropriate at the time, but somebody just always paying attention to the details for us. It's something I really took for granted. And my dad, both my parents worked full time, but in the colder nights especially, we had a couple of different things, but we always had something that burned real wood. So we would have natural log fires. The fire behind me tonight is gas, which is pretty common in this area. A lot of people use gas fireplaces. They're convenient, but they're not the same as a natural wood-burning fire. But my dad would always make the fires, and he taught us how to find kindling for them, or if we only had newspaper, how to roll the newspaper just right, so that we would get our perfectly stacked logs started every single time. We never struggled to get a fire going because we had a method, and I always looked forward to it. I definitely miss that part of my life. But that's not to say that I'm unhappy with where I'm at in life now. I just wish I didn't always have to be responsible for every decision. And I'm sure you feel that way too. Especially now with the holidays. There was kind of a time actually where I know it's different for everybody and the holidays really are hard. But I was fortunate enough to have a lot of magic in them when I was younger. I always loved, because I was in school in the 90s, I loved that we got to have all the different parties at school. was a really small school too, so we got to make gingerbread houses out of milk cartons and do a Christmas concert. And we did a school-wide Thanksgiving feast, actually. And we took the time to just kind of indulge in the holidays a little bit more in school than I think they're allowed to now, but the Thanksgiving feast was really fun because each grade, there was only one of each grade in our school. There's about 90 kids total, but each grade brought either a side or some sort of appetizer. And the third grade class learned how to make homemade ice cream. And they brought that. The third grade class was always so much fun. They had a pet rabbit that you got to take home on the weekends if your parents signed up to let you watch it. And as one of their learning units, they got to hatch chicks and ducklings. And because it was an elementary school out in the country, most of my classmates lived on land or were farmers, so their parents would always let them take some home. And even though we lived with a little bit of land, and we actually did have a chicken coop already established on our property, we still lived in a neighborhood, kind of like a subdivision, even though it was a couple miles out of town. So we had neighbors that were decently close, and my mom never let us take any of the chicks or the ducklings home. I really, really wanted to, though, but yeah. Going into these late fall and winter months now, even though I've still found ways to enjoy them, there was a couple years in my early to mid-20s that they had just kind of lost some of their sparkle. You know, you become more aware of what it actually takes to make the holidays happen. I missed that I wasn't guaranteed to go home for the same routine every year, because things change with your cousins, things change with your siblings, especially as we all started getting in more serious relationships and trying to make it fair so everybody could see everybody. It still was amazing and happy, but required more planning and logistics on my part, and I really miss when somebody would do that for me. They view those months of darkness as restorative, and they have really good attitudes about it. So I try to learn from people who are a little bit more experienced than I am with the dark. And if they can handle it for 2 to 4 months, I can handle reduced sunlight. I know it's not that easy for everyone. And if it's not that easy for you, I understand. If there's something that I can do, or say, or maybe a video that you would want to see that helps with those months where you're not so sure about the reduced daylight hours, let me know. I have never had somebody do this for me personally, but I really hope that at some point in the future someone will. Because if this feels as good as it sounds, I am in heaven. There is nothing left for me to accomplish. As always, I've got Lydia's head tipped a little bit, so I want to support her firmly, but gently and kindly by the neck. My sweet friend, I hope that you have a restful evening. If you're still awake, I hope you have sweet dreams, and that wherever you are, you feel safe and you feel comfortable. Have a good night.